Hello and welcome back to Trails Through Trails, the podcast where we play the Trails games, chapter by chapter, game by game, and sometimes we have to admit that it's time to stop talking and end the episode like we did last week. But it's a fresh week, it's a fresh episode, it's a fresh chapter, and I'm your freshly fed and watered host, Matt. I use he, him pronouns.
And I'm your other freshly fed and watered. Yeah, I am freshly fed and watered as well, actually. Other host, Lex, and I use she, her pronouns.
Welcome back, Lex. How do you feel after the absolute brain explosion that was Chapter 6, Part 2?
You know, I felt hungover the next day. I did, and I wasn't. I just kind of felt it. But I think I'm good now. It's been 2 weeks, and somehow I've managed over the course of 2 weeks to recover from whatever that was.
Nice. Yeah, after that recording, it was like mid-afternoon for me, so I just went outside and stood in the backyard for a while and stared into space until my cat realized that I was out of the recording studio and came to scream at me to pay attention to her. So life is good.
Well, she did scream into the mic for us, too.
She did.
I guess. She wanted her congratulations. She wanted her flowers.
And she deserves them for ... She doesn't really do much. But what else have you been up to in the 2 weeks that has been?
I've had a pretty busy 2 weeks. I had company over last weekend, and I got to see the Rosalia concert here in Toronto, which was great. Nice. That was the same weekend that we were hosting the World Cup in Toronto, so it was absolute chaos in the city.
Busy.
Luckily, I wasn't in the city the day we had a match, but all the tourists who were here for the Friday game were obviously still here Saturday, so it was chaos. But it's exciting, you know, so I'll take that.
Yeah.
I have played video games. Only recently. I still was on my kick of, like, kind of not having some sort of friction and not getting to games, just being tired all the time. But I started Elliot, The Adventures of Elliot.
Yay.
I had downloaded the prologue demo when it came out and then never touched it. So I played the prologue demo yesterday and I bought the full game. And now I'm further into it. I don't know how long, but I'm having a great time. It is so funny how Zelda it is and how they tutorialize everything. Like, no one has ever had, like, a cracked door or, like, rock before. Like, there's no possible way you could put together that a bomb might go here.
Yeah, it's interesting to see the weird, because I've been playing it as well.
Yeah.
The intersection between, like, the Zelda influence and then, like, the Octopath influence, because all of the side quests you can do are all, like, voiced with cutscenes and everything.
Yes.
It's a lot deeper than you would ever go with, like, a quote-unquote side quest in a Zelda game.
Yeah.
But it's nice, and I like how weird some of the, like, accessories and, like, skill boosts you can get from the Magicite, the kind of, like, customization for your weapons and stuff.
That's really fun.
There's weird ones. I've just been doing the thing where once you get Faye, the little fairy companion who's with you for, as far as I know, most of the game, she can just auto-assign the Magicite for you, a feature that I am still missing arriving in Trails games. But you can just say, hey, just assign whatever. So I just keep doing that every time I've gotten a handful of Magicite to see what's going to happen when I pull out my weapons. Like, at the moment, if I drop a bomb, it lets off fireworks 3 times, it bounces around, and then when it explodes, it lets out, like, a lava area of effect damage thing.
Okay, I got that one, but I haven't used it yet.
That's really cool. And then another one I got from a side quest was just an accessory, which says any throwable item is a bomb. So anything you can pick up and throw, like a shrub or a crate or whatever, you throw that and it's a bomb.
That's amazing.
It feels like someone played, like, the Karlach Barrelmancer build in Baldur's Gate 3 and then came and worked on this game, because, like, throwing things that explode is fun. We should do more of that.
We should.
Yeah, I'm having a great time with it. It's good to, like, get in, do a little bit, and then bounce out again.
There is so much dialogue, though.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it was very funny, because it's very Triangle Strategy. I don't know if you played Triangle Strategy, where there's a lot of cutscenes with all voice dialogue.
Oh, yeah.
Giving kind of exposition. And the thing with Triangle Strategies, and I finished Triangle Strategy. I played it twice. I quite liked it, but it was very dry, a lot of it. But at least the things that they were taking, like, 10 years to do exposition about were, like, the geopolitics of the world. Stuff you didn't know. Here, I had, like, a 10-minute cutscene of, like, little kids explaining what an adventurer was.
Oh, yeah.
So you go on adventures, you help people. It's a good thing to help people. Like, and it was like, come, guys, we don't need this.
These particular lines don't need to be voiced. These ones should be fast so that I can skip through them, yeah.
Yes.
I've definitely caught myself skipping ahead because I am a speed reader, and, like,
yeah, me too.
Voiced dialogue in Japanese RPGs is always very slow. Very slow. And so I've been jumping ahead, but it's like, it's good voice acting, so I want to enjoy it. But there's a lot of it. Also, the best voice acting in the entire game is the cats.
Yeah, I love the cats.
The human voice cats that do not have a human making a cat meow sound. They have a series of humans saying meow
It's amazing.
with different inflections, which is really weird. You can tell the emotion behind it. I had one that was like, meow. It was kind of like a you chill.
A thing I wondered at first, I thought Elliot was saying meow every time he saw a cat. And I was a little disappointed that doesn't seem to be what it is now that I've heard more of the voices. But that would be amazing if Elliot or his companion just said meow to every cat.
I do love that it's multiple voice actors who have done it. There's like male and
Yeah.
female voices all mixed in there. So this isn't just one person saying meow 20 times for them to use. They made this a big deal.
It's really funny. I love that. So my thing with this game is I get lost constantly. I don't think I've ever gotten lost as constantly in a game as this one. I can't I cannot find my way around anything for the life of me. Partly because the maps and the mini map don't show like the pathways.
Yeah.
Because every time I think I figured out the way to go, there's a fence, and then I spend ages trying to walk around, trying to figure out where like I can actually go through. And I love the HG2D art style. Like I think it's beautiful, but it is not always easy to tell that a place is traversable or not.
Yeah, I agree. Like the world map, like I appreciate that instead of just being like an illustrated thing or something really, really basic, it's kind of like a low resolution version of the actual world.
Yeah.
So you can kind of get an idea. But you're right, there's things like the way they represent ladders you can climb sort of vertically between different locations. They're not very clear in the way the map has been rendered. Like all it would take is like a symbol or like pump up the color on them or something just to make them stand out a bit more. Because if you're looking for a ladder, you can see a ladder. But if you're not looking for a ladder, you just see like a slightly different brown stripe on the side of this wall.
Yeah.
Stuff like that is a little bit annoying. But yeah, I do appreciate you get this compass, which is like, oh, it can help you find magic vent things or cats or new weapons. And as soon as they said it can do all these different things, like, okay, so I get to pick one and that's the one that it does. And then if I want to go look for cats, I have to switch to the cat compass. And it's like, nope, it's just a compass that has like 16 needles on it by the end of the game, apparently, that's indicating all these different things. Like,
that's great.
That stuff, beautiful. Yeah. And I'm just enjoying how they've taken the Zelda thing and then there's so much weird shit piled on top of it. Like, I don't think I've even unlocked all the time periods yet. I think I've still got one more to go.
I think I've got one more to go, but I think I'm getting there soon.
One thing I will praise for this game about its map, though, is when you have like a tunnel, like a secret connector or something, and you hover over one of the doors on the world map, it shows an indicator of which doors that's linked to. So if you go in the secret shortcut 2, here's where the other end of it is. So you don't have to just like hunt on the map hovering over all the doors. Like little stuff like that is just quality of life that actually matters.
Yeah. It's great. I'm having a great time. But yeah, that's what, and it's fun to play it at the same time that kind of like everyone seems to be playing it. My circle is like so curated, like, you know, Discord and my Blue Sky, whatever, that I don't actually know if like the wider world is really going for Elliot or if it's just that I feel like everyone in the world is playing it. But I feel like everyone in the world's playing it, so it's fun to be like part of, you know, the everyone in the world.
Yeah, everyone in my world is playing it, and that's the main thing.
Yeah. Did you have anything else that you've been playing?
Yeah, I did decide to start a new game plus on Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition Nintendo Switch 2 edition for the Nintendo Switch 2.
The 2 edition, yeah.
Because they released that one concurrently with
Day of the Direct.
Yeah, really pretty. It's nice to come back and do New Game Plus. I'm just kind of like breezing through the start. Right. They give you the Ether Jet, which is like a little magic motorbike that you can ride once you sort of get to the first open area in that game. And my God, it makes a difference. Yeah. Being able to move quickly around these huge open zone maps. I don't know how I played it the first time now. I've flown through the start of the game. I didn't realize how much of that game was just like running in a direction and waiting.
Oh.
I'm having a great time with that. Yeah, I figured I'd kind of try and do a replay of 1 until the 2 update comes out and then do 2 until 3.
Yeah. Have you played all 3 of them?
I have, yeah. I've played all of them over the years. Xenoblade Chronicles 1 took me the longest to finish. I've bought that game on Wii, 3DS, and Nintendo Switch, and Nintendo Switch 2 now.
Oh my God.
Because I got stuck. I didn't get very far in the Wii version, and also that was, being the Wii, one of the worst running versions, but ambitious. The 3DS version, I got stuck at one boss fight in the Bionis' stomach. So that is just the location that is stuck in my mind forever because I got stuck in this stupid fucking boss fight. And then when the Definitive Edition came out with the updated art style, which I really like, it's like the more cartoony look than the more grounded of the original. So New Game Plus, a lot easier.
Yeah.
I think for the first like 4 or 5 chapters, there was not a single enemy I hit that didn't go down in a single strike. You know, when you're meant to be level 8 and you're level 87, it's a little bit of a different ballgame.
I was going to say, the one other thing we haven't discussed is that the Nintendo Direct finally happened.
Oh, yeah.
Because we talked about Summer Game Fest, but the Nintendo Direct had not happened.
There was a lot of games in that. I've already lost all track of what was in that Nintendo Direct.
I love that, like, on the TWG Discord, I was like, this is the greatest Direct of all time. And then you go onto Twitter and they're like, this is the worst Direct ever. This is such a disappointment. And I'm like, well, I'm sorry, you don't like good games. I was bummed that we did not get an English release date for Kyoto Xanadu. That would have been really cool.
That would have been nice, yeah.
The Kingdom Hearts 4 reveal, I don't even go there. And I was like, gagged. I was like, oh my god, Nintendo got Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer? What the hell?
Pretty wild, yeah. I actually had to go back and rewatch that trailer because as soon as I realized it was Kingdom Hearts, I looked away from my screen and started texting Misha from Simple and Clean to say,
yeah,
oh my god, Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer. Because they are into games, but maybe not as deeply ingrained as we are.
Yeah.
So I was just like, hey, fresh off the presses. And then the next morning, when he woke up, they were like, yeah, like 20 people sent me this. Like, yes, that's what you want, curated content.
That's what you want. There was also new Xenoblade, which is not Xenoblade 4, Xenoblade Genesis, which looks like a Cold Steel, as we would say, or a Three Houses type Xenoblade.
I called it Xenoblade Three Houses because you're going to like a school and it's like, hey, your whole life is going to be about this school in the trailer. And then I don't think that's going to be true for the whole game.
No. Trails of Xenoblade Three Houses.
Oh, yeah. And conspiracy theories abound because like they were identifying that like the mounts, the wolf mounts that you've got in the game look exactly like sprites from Xenogears back on the PS1.
Ooh.
And like all these other elements that they're sort of drawing links and, you know, oh,
that's so fun.
The symbol that's really important in the Xenoblade series is in the school's logo and all this stuff. So people are just like losing their minds over the like minute and a half we've seen of this game so far. Also, new cool world concept.
Yes.
This time we're on the inside of a globe as opposed to
cool.
on a giant monster or several giant monsters or an eternal battlefield.
And speaking of Three Houses, they're not exactly Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave. We got a new trailer for it.
Yes.
Who do you think you're starting with? Kai?
Yeah. I mean...
Purple hair? Yeah.
Purple hair melanated dude? Yeah, I'm starting with Kai, unfortunately. I am very predictable.
Yeah, that's every character you play. It's every character you customize looks like that, and you didn't even have to customize him. Like, yeah, of course you are.
I can't believe I'm being read about my character choices while I'm sitting in my booth that is, ironically, black and purple.
Let me set the scene for the listener. Matt, it has a purple microphone. I think that's a purple shirt you're wearing, though. It may be like a navy blue. I can't quite tell. Yeah. Purple headphones. He's got purple and black soundproofing panels on the inside of the like closet space he's in. But he's also got a purple light, so it looks as though the wall of his room is purple.
Yeah.
His face has even got like purple lighting on it. So there's a purplish tinge to everything is purple.
Also, you don't generally see them, but I'll bring it into frame. Even the zip ties on my boom arm for my mic are purple Velcro.
Yeah.
Because it turns out if you need something in your life, you can go onto a website and type the name of that thing and then the word purple. And most of the time you'll get one.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, so I will be playing Kai. How about you?
I'm leaning towards Lita, which I know that's like it seems to be the popular choice, but like Hot Angry Girl kind of does it for me. And I like, she seems like a dancer or musician, like something in that category, like, because she's got the music thing going on. She's an archer, and hopefully archers are good in this game like they were in Three Houses.
Yeah.
But all of the leads look really strong. I have thought about Kai, because Kai, like, I have theories, some dark thing that's like, some twist coming up in Kai's arc, because there's all this mention that Kai's fighting to save his father, and no mention of where his father is or what he needs saving from. But then the Xander looking guy, Xander from Fates, I mean the blonde like knight edgelord guy, I want to know what his deal is. And I want to know what Theodora, the one who wears the skimpy outfit, but also all the men in her army wear the skimpy outfit, so it's actually just a uniform and like we have equality at last. All of them look great. Like all of these leads look really cool.
Yeah, I quite enjoy, he probably won't be my pick unless the game plays radically different depending on which protagonist you choose, and I'll do New Game Pluses or whatever. But Dietrich, the guy who looks like he fell out of Castlevania by accident.
That's who I meant by the Xander looking guy.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But yeah, he looks wild. I'm going to play with all four. Like, I know myself, I will play it 4 times with all 4 leads. Unless it turns out that it's actually a thing where you choose which order to play them in, but they're all part of one storyline that converges at the end. That is still possible.
Yeah. That was kind of a thought I had. Maybe there's like a sub narrative for each of the 4 leads, and then you unlock the final chapter type thing, or like the
Yeah.
expanded story when they meet up.
Which is kind of like Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn. They did, so you didn't choose what order you did them in, but you jumped between armies for like 3 acts, and then in the 4th act, everyone
Okay.
kind of converges despite having been fighting against each other most of the game, because there's like a, world-ending threat they have to deal with.
Yeah.
Radiant Dawn is like one of my favorite Fire Emblem games, so that's high praise. To a comparison is very exciting for me.
I haven't really done any of the pre-awakening Fire Emblems. Like I got on board during the 3DS era and haven't really circled back except when they've done like remakes like the Gaiden one.
So what I will tell you is that Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn are a duology. The protagonist is as close to canonically gay as they possibly could have gotten away with in a 2005 RPG. Like, they make it very, very, very clear. The reward for having game carryover is that he gets to be explicitly, not explicitly, but pretty explicitly gay. Like, he gets a really intimate scene with the male character he's closest with. Like, they reward you with gayness.
Nice.
It's the closest to a Three Houses experience, those 2 games.
So which main character is this in the Dawn, in the Radiant game, sorry?
So Ike is the main character. He's kind of
it's
young
Ike.
looking in the first one, and then he gets really buff in the next one, because there's a 3-year time gap.
Every Fire Emblem protagonist has to make a choice. Do they pick up the makeup or do they pick up the weights? And Ike chose weights.
Ike chose weights.
Yeah, okay, cool. I'll have to go back and check that out. Is that one of the ones that's on the Switch emulation stuff?
The first one is on the GameCube emulation. The next one was a Wii game, so it's not.
Yeah, I haven't tried Wii on the Thor, but I would be interested to give it a go and see what happens.
It'll probably work. Yeah, and it's I emulated Path of Radiance to replay it a couple of years ago, and it was a blast on the Steam Deck, so I'm sure it's great on the Thor.
Nice. Well, we said this episode was going to be quick, and we're still in the intro, and it's already been half an hour. Should we maybe talk about fucking trails?
Yeah, I think we got the most important things from the Nintendo Direct too. There's Ocarina of Time, but we haven't seen anything about it.
Yeah, I know there was at least like 4 more games that I cared about, but we don't have time. If you really want to hear a deep dive on what was in this and the stuff that we liked, because our interests generally align, go check out the episode that Into the Aether did over on the West Garbage Network, which was called Big Thumb.mp3, I think.
Yes, it was big_thumb.mp3.
Yeah, go check that one out for a better deep dive on the Nintendo Direct.
I mean, I listened to it. I think we're on the same page about like everything. So, yeah.
But over here at Trails Through Trails, the podcast about trails, we're going to talk about Trails in the Sky, the 3rd, the chapter, number 7. Let's go.
Yes.
Goddess bless you.
Chapter 7, short but not sweet. In fact, pretty brutal in many places.
Oh, yeah. Straight off the bat, we know something's a bit different because we get the title card for the chapter before anything happens. We're just going straight into it, which is Chapter 7, The Distant Flames.
They will not stay distant, spoiler alert, in this chapter. They'll get a lot closer. So we open up back in Astor House, because at the end of last chapter, we had gotten, up to the gates of Astor House, the place where Kevin, Reese, and Rufina all grew up.
Mm-hmm.
It looks pretty abandoned. It kind of feels like when you're walking around the Minoria orphanage after the fire, walking around this place, it has that same kind of haunted feeling.
Yes, it's a space that feels like it should always be full of people, like a school or something. Seeing a school empty is just as kind of creepy.
Yeah, you can feel that like something has happened here, like something sad has happened to this place, even though it doesn't look like there's no damage visible for us in this incarnation of it.
Yeah.
The music's also very like tentative.
I also like that Kevin and Reese, I think, comment on how this space feels extra real, even compared to some of the other recreated spaces that they've experienced so far, like Grand Cell and that, which I think is interesting. We know now that this is all derived from will and intent.
Mm-hmm.
This is a place that they have deeply ingrained memories of, so it would be a lot more detailed, a lot more sort of real to them compared to a place they'd visited like Grand Cell. Like, even Chloe doesn't know all of Grand Cell that well. She doesn't even know all of the castle that well.
Yeah, it's a big place.
This is kind of the realest real we've seen to date, I think.
But yeah, I wasn't sure from it whether we're meant to think that this place is realer or that just any of these characters, if they're at a place they know that well, because throughout the game, everyone's been like shocked. Like, people had a really hard time coming to terms with the idea that this place isn't real. And it's kind of idea that, like, yeah, the smell of the place, like the way, like, the earth feels under your feet, like the give it has, whatever, like, I like that touch, because it's, like, it's not just eerie because it looks the same. It's eerie because, like, all these subconscious sensory signifiers of a place. Like, when you're, like, remember a place, you don't necessarily think in your head like, oh, this little detail of like how
Yeah.
humid the air was there and how this, like, but if you're there, you feel it, you know it. As we already learned, and we'll learn more. The fact that Kevin knows this place very well would make it an extra easy place, I guess, to be super hyper realistic.
Yes, indeed. They also give us a bit more information on what exactly Astor House is. It's a little different from the Mercia Orphanage. It's what's called a gospel facility, lowercase g, so we don't have to worry too much, which basically means that it's kind of half orphanage, half monastery. It's kind of an orphan to priest pipeline.
Oh, I also wanted to say about the title card. Forgot to say it when we were talking about it. That makes this, other than maybe the prologue, I can't remember how the prologue starts. The first chapter to not start with a flashback.
Oh, true, yeah.
But we're kind of walking into a living flashback in a way, right? Like, this whole chapter is Kevin's memories. And we also have flurries of snow, which is kind of a nice little touch.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. It's like we must be close to the mountains, but not in the mountains.
And also, there can be, sometimes snow can be, like, flurries of snow can look very, like, romantic or joyful or whatever, but sometimes it can also be, like, really sad and, like, this, like, wistful sadness, depending on how it's done. And here is definitely this sad kind of sense of loss. Winter is associated with dead things and whatever. It's kind of that vibe.
Yeah.
And I do like that Kevin explains being an orphanage and is like, yeah, there's no need to dance around it. I'm an orphan. And it's like, Kevin, I think you're really dramatic about this. It's very funny.
Yeah, you've got better things to be dramatic about, like maybe save some of the juice.
Yes. He's like, how I came to be here is a story best saved for another day. And it's like, well, part of it we're about to find out, and part of it we already know. So nothing's being saved from us.
So once we've confirmed Kevin's orphan status, and the fact that it's been 5 years since he was back here, we get to go around the orphanage and check on a bunch of random stuff to get tidbits about his and Reese's life at the orphanage. Not all of them are particularly exciting. You can look at the well, and they say, we drew water from the well. Okay, great, thank you.
I guess the idea of it is that the kids had to come and do manual labor of getting it. Like, they didn't have a fancy thing, so sort of get the idea that they had chores and, like, physical labor to do at this place.
Yeah, I mean, the kids at Mercia do chores, but this is a working orphanage. Like, it's very much structured that it's powered by orphans because we know that they drew the water and it was all sort of hand drawn with a rope. They didn't even have like a classic stereotypical well where you can wind it up with a handle.
And they said it was cold. Their hands would all be red and raw. Though I don't know if that's because being kids, they just refused to wear gloves even though they were told to.
We do find out that, the place overall was pretty strict. Like, in the dining room, we found out that their matron was not kind and sweet like Mercia Orphanage. She was a real taskmaster. All the kids were in charge of the cooking and cleaning, so they had to take care of everything. We also get a note that when she was at the orphanage, the kitchen was like Rufina's turf. She was kind of queen of the kitchen. She made sure everyone was fed well, including Kevin and Reese and all the other kids.
Yeah.
When she moved on from the orphanage, they sort of took up the mantle and continued on that work for her.
Yes, and then Kevin left and Reese had to, I guess, do all the cooking in the orphanage alone.
Yeah. Up in the bedrooms, we get a couple different ones. Firstly, I found the kids' room. Kevin says this is where I was when I was first at the orphanage until I was about 10. Then they have separate boys and girls' rooms from 10 till whenever you leave the orphanage, I suppose.
Kevin describes himself as having been like a hedgehog at this age who wouldn't let anyone close, which I just think that's with his spiky hair, calling himself a hedgehog is kind of perfect.
Yeah.
That does line up with how him in the flashback of when he was found. He was very hedgehoggy.
We also get a note in the matron's room where Kevin and Reese are talking about her a bit. He asks how she's doing, and Reese says, oh, well, she's doing okay after her injuries, but she's retired. So we're like, oh, okay, that's serious sounding.
Kevin must know what the injuries are because he doesn't ask, oh, what happened? Clearly knows. We also get a very funny note in the boys' bedroom where Kevin says, this is the boys' bedroom where I slept until I was about 10 years old, which is also true of the children's bedroom. So I think I think there's a little error here.
Yeah. Oh, that reminds me. With the hedgehog thing in the kids' bedroom, the other note is Kevin's like, yeah, like I was really bad at making friends. I didn't want to make friends. Reese brings up the chocolate story, and Kevin immediately shuts it down. It's like, shut up, don't tell that story.
Yes.
So
it's cute.
He does still have some embarrassment about his life story. It's just not about any of the trauma stuff.
Yeah, and we get more reminiscing between the two of them about, Reese dragging Kevin out of bed because he's on cleaning duty or those kinds of
Mm,
things. Kevin is pretty open about the fact that he had a crush on Rufina as well at one point.
yeah.
Because Reese comments that when she was little, she'd sneak into Rufina's room and share a bed with her a lot. And it was like, you must have been jealous, Kevin. And Kevin's like, yeah, I was. And Reese is like surprised that he's not really flustered about it. And Kevin's like, I'm an adult man. I can admit that I had a crush on her when I was a kid. Like, it's fine.
I'm man enough to say I had a crush on a girl.
Yeah.
Wandering around the outside areas of the chapel, I did notice two things. One that I thought was cool and one that I thought was weird. The cool one was I noticed that anytime I had my party running behind one of the big outer walls of the orphanage, they are represented as little silhouettes behind the
Oh,
wall
yeah,
instead,
that's
which I
right.
don't think they've done for all of the high wall areas. Like, I don't recall that in the school, for instance,
Hmm.
but it's very well done. I've even got a screenshot where it's like perfectly shifting from like silhouette to the full sprite as you sort of bring them out from behind the wall. It's just another one of these like little effects that does a lot for this game.
Yeah.
The weird thing though was that the big beautiful stained glass at the back of the chapel faces directly into that brick wall. So
Mm.
there's no way for light to catch it and create a holy image. It's just
Yeah, it's
dark
strange.
stained glass all the time, which
Hmm.
poor design, but good safety, I guess.
I think they missed the memo about what the point of stained glass is.
Mm.
So the other thing to note around this part too is if you try to go into the chapel through any of the entrances, it's just locked.
Yeah.
And they kind of make an offhand comment like, "Oh, later, maybe we'll find a key eventually." But you won't until you've seen all the other places you're able to see. At which point you have to go back inside and then walk out if you're already there.
Yeah.
Basically a little conversation happened where Kevin's like, "Hey, Reese, on that day, you were the one responsible for cleaning the chapel, right? Which
Yeah.
means you had the key that day, right?" And basically leads her to check in her pocket, and she does have the key, which is very clever.
Yeah, they're kind of weaponizing the Phantasma rules against itself now to kind of proceed.
It's a bit unclear whether it was there the whole time or whether it was like only because they thought about it that it happened. Like I like either
Yeah.
interpretation. Like either it was recreated so faithfully that even though they're in their adult bodies that they're still kind of trapped in their childhood state, or it's that Kevin figured out how to play the game and like trick Phantasma.
Yeah, I kind of figured it was a similar kind of like it dropped in the moment thing, like the Mirror of Erised in the Transphobes books about wizards.
Right, right.
But yeah. Once we do have the key though, we that means that we can enter the chapel as the final area of Astor House to investigate.
Thank God. Take me to church. That's what we've been looking forward to all day.
Kevin says, "Hey, Reese, this is a point of no return for you personally. Like, if we go in there, you'll learn everything about what happened on that day, all of it, and you're gonna hate it and you're gonna hate me. So, do you want to go?"
Reese is like, "Yeah, of course I'm more than ready. I've been fucked up for the fact that I don't know for like 5 years or whatever."
Yeah, it's been half a decade with no answers. So, yeah, I'm ready, bud.
Like, appreciate Kevin being like, "Hey, let's be transparent about this," but also sometimes not knowing haunts you more than even a terrible truth would, you know?
Mm. But with that sort of put on the table, Reese is like, yeah, let's do it. She also mentions that in the present day, the real Astor House has been fully demolished, not just like
Crazy.
abandoned, it's like gone, which is odd. They don't tend to knock down religious places in this world.
Budget cuts were real bad, I guess.
Mm.
But we go in, and the stained glass, for the fact that there's no way for there to actually be light coming through, it does look quite pretty. I really like the way you've got Adios with her arms over her head holding whatever she's holding, which seems to be like a mask or something.
Oh, I don't have a screenshot of that.
Oh, let me send it to you.
Oh, okay, yeah. It does kind of look like she's holding, like, could be a mask, cup or something even.
I like that they put some detail into this stained glass window depiction of Adios. They put some work into it, and it's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
Hi, everybody. This is a first for us, but before we get into this next section of discussing the story of Trails in the Sky the Third, we need to do a little bit of a content warning because it's going to get pretty heavy.
Yeah.
So, your content warning applies to domestic violence, violence against children, murder, and suicide. These are all topics that will be touched upon, and also maybe possibly an implication of sexual violence. We will do our best to discuss this in a kind and non-confronting way, but just know that this is stuff that's happening, And we do have to mention it, so your mileage may vary depending on how that affects you. As always, we'll have chapter markers in the episode
Yeah.
so you can jump over anything that doesn't vibe with you. So we love you. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, and here we go. So here in the chapel, we do get into a breakdown of what happened 5 years ago, as Kevin sort of explains it and sort of checks in. He keeps checking in to see what Reese remembers because she seems to have like blank spots about this day.
Yeah.
He says 5 years ago, as we saw in one of the earlier flashbacks, a Jaeger group overtook the monastery orphanage out of nowhere. This was when Kevin was waiting to meet Rufina to come back and decided to head in early and fight them all himself as a squire. For Reese's part, she doesn't remember that much. She knows that there were a bunch of men in black who showed up. They all got tied up, and then they separated the matron and took her up to the second floor away from everyone else. Next thing she remembers after that, she was in a hospital bed. So there's a big gap in the middle there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. And they also mentioned that she found out retroactively what happened, that Kevin and Rufina had been there and that Rufina had died in the process. As far as who was responsible for the thing, the only thing she heard from Ein was that it was someone who opposed the church and wouldn't speak any further of it.
We also find out that she never had a chance, after hearing about Rufina and Kevin's involvement, she never saw Kevin again.
True.
So she couldn't even ask him what happened. Like, there was, like, it sounds like there wasn't a funeral for Rufina that he was at or anything. So, like, she truly, like, did not see him once after Rufina died. Which, like, wow, no wonder she was so fucking mad when she saw him again. We will learn why Kevin was so fucked up that he wasn't going anywhere near Reese.
Mm-hmm.
But man, Reese, that is really rough to have, like, your only remaining family not come see you after the death of your family member, of your closest family member. Like, lose them both in one go.
Yeah, like, no explanation for what actually happened. Even Ein couldn't disclose because, as a girls' reader, she was under NDA, basically. Kevin sort of says, yeah, it kind of figures, like, a Growl's Ritter wouldn't be able to admit that this orphanage was a front for artifact protection.
Yeah.
To which Reese and everyone else says, what? This is artifact protection? I thought this was my house.
What a fucking insane thing to do with an orphanage of children.
Yeah.
It's one thing if, like, your Grand Cell Cathedral or whatever, that the Archbishop's bed or whatever is also, like, your most deep underground is the storage site or whatever. Like, yes, obviously lots of civilians are in there all the time, but, like, you've got the top of the church members are there, but, like, you have a bunch of children. You build a place for children to be there. It's not like it happened to be, like, people put an orphanage there and then they discovered, oh, we didn't know this was here. Like, no, they knew it. What the hell are we doing?
Kind of crazy. Once we've had this explained, Kevin
shows the secret passage to the underground.
Yes, he steps off to the side of the pulpit, is the right word, I think?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
And activates a secret passage that Reese was not aware of. On the way down the stairs beyond the secret passage, Kevin confirms, like, he didn't know about it beforehand either. He's like, hey, when you wake up in the hospital, did you have your ribbon that you always wear in your hair? And she's like, no. And Kevin reveals, aha, well, the genius investigation I did was that I found your ribbon in front of a wall with some footprints. And I was like, hey, maybe there's something here.
Yeah.
And then assumably he just poked everything on the, like, religious frieze on that wall until something activated a secret door.
I love that he's CSI Joshua.
He's giving it his best shot, yeah. Even before meeting, he had, like, the energy within him.
Yeah. And as they're going down these stairs, Kevin's like, yeah, below here is a primal ground to seal artifacts away. So now we know of 3 of these primal grounds, because there's one under Arteria, the holy city, where the church is headquartered. There's one under Grand Cell Cathedral. And then there's one under some random gospel facility this is not a visually impressive church. Like, it's nice.
Yeah, but this isn't, like, a primary location for the church, yeah.
So it begs the question, what makes a primal ground? Because they're not digging out 10 million miles underneath, like, these places. And they always say that they have some sort of ability to them that helps them seal things. So, like, what makes them appear places? Why are they here?
Yes. So Kevin was chasing down to the primal ground that he just discovered after the Jaeger that had kidnapped Reese and taken her along. Assumably, he'd busted into the church, found her doing her cleaning duties and said, all right, come with me. You're a religious person. You can help me get into this religious place.
Yep. Oh, I just remembered something that happened before this that I don't know if we should talk about or not. They mentioned when Reese is like, I remember the Jaegers came in and, like, tied everybody up. They say they tied the matron up and then took her upstairs. And I was like, are they implying what I think they're implying?
Well, they say she has injuries. So The kind of read I had on this was that they interrogated her, like beat her up until she revealed the secret package. The other option is
Darker.
a lot less PG. Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to get your take on that because I was like, am I crazy? Am I...
I could read it that way, yeah.
But anyway, yes, we go down. We're on, by the way, just the mirror image of the long staircase to hell under Grand Cell Cathedral. It's just flipped, but it's the same staircase.
I appreciate it that it's the exact same, like, incredibly long staircase that's suitable for any length of conversation, followed by a dead-end hallway that goes to nowhere.
Yeah. In front of the door, he's like, hey, do you remember when you found me and how fucked up I was? Yeah. And then Kevin's just like, yeah, before I met you, I killed my mom.
Oh. And immediately no, he's just being dramatic. It's like, through my inaction, she died. It's like, Kevin, stop signing up for more trauma. You have a full subscription.
Now we get flashback images where we see a very little Kevin who looks the brightest, smiliest we've ever seen Kevin in his entire life, looking up at his mom, who she doesn't have like her face isn't drawn, but you can see that she's got the same hair color as him and is like an adult woman.
Yeah, this is like pre-trauma Kevin, a face we've never seen.
Mm-hmm.
Also a signal for what's to come in this tale, that he is like fully lit and smiling, and his mum's face is cast in shadow. Even though they're facing the same way, walking the same direction, she's clearly experiencing a darkness not related to the ambient light. Yeah,
and her shoulders are kind of slumped, and like there's a clear contrast, whereas his chest is all pushed back. Like there's a clear contrast between their mode of being. We find out that his father was a married, wealthy man who had an affair with his mother, and Kevin was a result of that affair, and he showed up time to time, but basically didn't want Kevin and his mom intruding on his nice married life. And then when Kevin was 7, the father stopped showing up for good.
We also get an aside in there that he gets his accent from his mum, so she is the Bostonian influence in his life.
Yes.
I think he mentions he used to get teased for his accent or something.
Yeah, he mentions that. But yeah, he mentions that, you know, his mom was never the most stable or like robust person before his father left, but after his father left, she just kind of spiraled.
Yeah.
And just into this horrible depression.
Which came to a head when one night he was awoken from his sleep.
So Kevin wakes up in the night to this horrifying image of his mother leaning over him. No eyes, but she has a smile, open mouth smile. Mm-hmm. He says she was strangling him, and you can see from the way her hands are positioned. You don't see Kevin at all in the image. Like, it's, I don't know if tastefully done is the right word, because there's nothing tasteful about, like, what's happening, but it is evocative without being graphic in any way.
I would say that's a good way to put it. Yeah, big deal. She's trying to strangle him to death and apologizing.
Chapters and chapters ago, we got this dialogue without an image of, you know, I'm so sorry, Kevin, but I failed you, but at least this way the two of us can, you know. Yeah,
she never finishes that thought in this flashback. So the two of us can be happy, can be safe, can be together. Yeah. In any case, Kevin is like a 7 to 10-year-old child at this point. So he freaks out, runs away from the house, not knowing what's going on, and was just sort of wandering the streets in a daze for hours until he finally calmed down or stopped dissociating.
Got hungry.
Decided to head back home, only to find that his mother has ended her own life in the meantime. And this one is a bit more graphic than the strangling image, because you do see her on the ground in a pool of blood with a big old knife.
It's only briefly.
Yes, they show it very sparingly, but there is no two bones about it. This is absolutely a suicide. This was not a home invasion or something else. They want to make it very explicit.
What happened?
Mama Graham did this to herself.
Obviously, she was suffering terribly. You know, like, obviously, she's very ill. It's one of those moments in Trails where, like, this is a thing that happens in the real world way more often than anyone wants to think about. Both the suicide part, but also the parent-child murder-suicide thing. And this is one of those moments where Trails deals with something very, very real and kind of doesn't flinch away from it, but also isn't graphic. Like, it's not trauma. It's not like torture porn, you know what I mean? It's not like exploitatively done, but it is really effective and upsetting.
Yes, so this is a tough one. After that is when
Kevin apologizes for making everyone listen to that, first of all, which is
so real,
but also so, like, I think a lot of us have done this where you share something really personal about yourself and like something hard you've been through, and then you're like, sorry to like put that all on you, like sorry to talk so long or
Yeah.
whatever, and everyone around you is like, why are you apologizing? Oh my god.
Yeah.
And like I've been on both sides of that. I'm sure you probably have too. Like most of us have, but it's such a real like reflexive reaction.
Yeah, like it's a very understandable instinct. It's like, I've put you through something that isn't like explicitly and implicitly a fun, cool time that you loved, so I need to apologize, even though
Yeah.
you've kind of asked me to share this information in this moment.
And then he also shares that this is when his stigma was carved inside of him.
He believes, yeah.
Not when it manifested, but he believes that this is when the stigma showed up.
Yeah, this trauma is what activated me as a future Dominion. After that, he didn't really know what to do with his mum dead, so he just kind of moved to the streets and eventually ended up being found by Reese and Rafina and force-fed chocolate and forcibly adopted to slowly rehabilitate him into a quote-unquote healthy human being. Which
he seems to have been for a brief period. Like, he was, until everything that we're about to learn happened, he seemed to have recovered a lot. Obviously, he still had his, he still woke up in the middle of the night with nightmares about it. We saw that happen at one point. But he had recovered a lot from the state he was in on the streets in that first encounter.
Definitely, yeah. He redirected his life, and we don't get a lot about his internal life through this period of time, like him as a squire and everything, but it does seem like he was, if not better, at least on the mend. He was able to redirect his energy into something positive. Before that all kind of went to shit in a few minutes' time.
Obviously, these games are full of people blaming themselves for things that are very obviously not their fault. This is maybe the worst circumstance of, like, the most objectively ridiculous one to blame yourself for. Now, Survivor's Guild it's not logical.
Yeah.
But my mother died through my inaction. You were 8, you had just almost died, and you were not there.
Yes.
What were you supposed to do, Kevin? But obviously there's not a logical reflex to blame himself.
Exactly, yeah.
It's not coming from a place of, like, rationality. It's coming from survivor's guilt and trauma. Like, what happened was tragic.
Yeah.
There was really nothing that you could have been expected to have done.
So at this point, we jump forward back to the tale of Astor House.
We're now in the primal ground room. We've gone through the door into the actual, circular space, identical to the one in Grand Cell.
And despite being a past recreation, this primal ground doesn't have anything on the artifact holding pedestal thing in the middle. It's just an empty room.
Yeah.
In the past, Kevin made it down here chasing after Reese and the Jaeger. The Jaeger was sort of holding her at sword point, gunpoint, whatever, freaked out when Kevin approached and grabbed for the artifact, which was in the primal ground at this point in time. And that artifact was the Spear of Loa. Where have we heard that before, perhaps?
Where have we heard that? Possibly seen it in a menu before?
So it turns out the way this spear works is that if you touch it, it turns you into a demon. So the Jaeger grabs the spear, turns into a big giant demon. We get a cool illustration of him. It looks like Sephiroth and Doomsday from Superman had a baby.
You got it.
We also get a good look at the Spear of Loa. It kind of looks like it is the handle of a lance where the end of the spear has been broken off. It's just kind of a stubby little thing. It's not really a spear per se. This new monsterized Jaeger with the spear pretty much put Kevin in the dirt. Very powerful, and Kevin is still a squire.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, the spear, it's the spear in Fire Emblem Three Houses that Miklon steals.
Oh, yeah.
And then turns you into a beast. That's basically what it is.
So this must have, like, roots in, like, an actual religious or, like, cultural tale, then, if it's...
A mythological something, yeah.
If it's, like, a spear that turns into a monster, that's, like, a very specific mechanic, is the word I was going to say.
Yeah, I think there might be a mythological reference to it that we just don't know.
Kevin's been beat down. In this screenshot, we've got, like, the back shot of the demon, but that's a different movie. We have a shot of the demon from behind, standing over Kevin, who is bleeding excessively, and sort of standing guard in front of Reese's sort of unconscious body on the floor. At this point, when Kevin was pretty much taken down, the demon went to go for Reese, and that is the moment when Kevin's stigma activated for the first time.
Yes.
So, and this is the crazy thing, his stigma activated, slurped up the power of the Spear of Loa, amplified it, and returned it back to him 1,000-fold. So basically said, oh, you've got one spear? I can make that many spears.
when you get this really cool image as he's standing back up as his Stigma's activating, where it's like a purplish skull is kind of like transparent in front of him.
Very demonic, yeah.
What's interesting about that is that Loa is our spirits in voodoo, and that's often how they're depicted.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So that is kind of a reference to the mythological. If you've probably seen them in like a Persona game or a SMT game or something. That's where a lot of people would recognize that kind of artistic depiction.
It's kind of your classic doom spell representation, that kind of thing, yeah.
Yeah.
The darkness inside Kevin activated, gobbled up the Spear of Loa, flipped it around, and sent 1,000 versions of it back at this demon Jaeger.
Mm-hmm.
And they describe the end result being just thousands of lumps of flesh left behind.
Yeah, it's pretty dire.
Pretty hardcore.
And he's still not done.
I kind of clicked at this point. It's like, oh, that makes sense, because when you do use Kevin's S-Craft, Spear of Loa, he shoots one version of this spear from his actual crossbow, and then all the other versions get summoned around him from his Stigma.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing we've been doing to enemies is just repeating Kevin's trauma over and over again, and they've just been kind to us and not shown the thousands of lumps of flesh.
Yeah.
Can you imagine this exact game? Like, you know, Trails in the Sky the Third remake comes along, and it's in that beautiful art style. Everything's great, all the big bombastic spells, and then just for one S-Craft for Kevin, they bring out the gore tech from Doom and just jib every fucking enemy into like a gory splatter across the battlefield. Can you imagine Estelle reacting to that in a battle? It'd be the first swear word we ever hear from her. It's like, victory. Holy shit, Kevin! What the fuck?
No wonder it took him so long to use it. No wonder he refused to use it until Reese was about to die.
No. I promise. I just have a healing S-Craft. Don't even worry about it, buddy.
Jesus. But he says the power's still coursing through him, and in the image that they have of him when he's attacking the other guy, like he's got this like evil smile on his face, like he's clearly kind of like this power has kind of taken him over. He says the power's still in me. I'm still bloodthirsty, but like it's still I'm still out of control. And Rufina bursts in.
Yes, because as this happened, like Kevin jibbed this demon, and this destructive power is still running through his body, so he was turning on the only other target available, which was Reese's unconscious body, when Rufina came in. And Rufina was not having that, obviously. She decided to step in between them to try and keep Kevin away from Reese.
And she understood immediately what had happened, too.
They reference it in a later conversation, but basically no one was getting out of this room unless at least one of them died.
Yeah.
There was no other solution in this point, so she steps in between Reese and Kevin to protect her.
Spreads her arms out.
It's very sort of defensive.
Like almost like for a hug.
Yeah, hoping that love can conquer all. Unfortunately, what happens in the moment is that her stepping in to protect someone else reminded Kevin of his mother. And in this like heightened demonized state, that just brought forth all the resentment and anger and sort of sense of loss from his mum, which he directed outwards by, and I quote, filling her with holes.
Mm-hmm. I think she kind of knew this was going to happen. Like, I think they make it clear later on, like, she was not expecting to survive this. My read of this is that more she's spreading her arms, she's like, give it to me, like, I embrace death type of thing. Not literally, like, in a happy way, but, like, yes, like, I'm not fighting what's coming.
Yeah. And interestingly, in the art, I did get a screenshot of this one, but all of the spears are stabbed into her back, which tells me that she dived in and sort of, like, wrapped herself around Reese to protect her, as opposed to standing up to Kevin.
That's not how I read it at all. I read it that they've gone so far through her that you could only see them sticking out of her back.
Possibly.
That it was facing at him, and like she was hugging him as he was doing it, and they went all the way to the back of her body.
Yeah, because either way, like, he's done a less extreme version. She doesn't get chunked. She just gets mortally wounded.
She still has a whole body to bury, but she is going to be buried. She's not surviving it.
Yeah, and that sounds rough. Like, that basically means that halfway through his S-Craft, Kevin kind of came to his senses. He was like mid-attack when he realized what he was doing and sort of pulled the plug to stop her from being just like pureed. That's rough.
Really bad. And she hugs him as she's dying, and he comes to with her hugging him. Which, and if he comes to with her hugging him, that suggests that like she was hugging him as he was killing her.
Yeah, I wonder if this first stigma activation was like a blackout moment that he only recalled later.
Could be.
Because that would mean he had a similar experience to Reese, where he sort of blacked out at the start of a traumatic event and came to see the aftermath.
Yeah.
Which was a bunch of dude mints and a dead of a sister.
Maybe more traumatic than when he blacked out.
Yeah.
This is the darkest thing we've seen so far, for sure, in these games. And then Kevin says, so there's the truth, Reese. I'm the one who killed her. And basically lays out, like, it's my fault. If I couldn't control my stigma, I couldn't control the bloodlust. She'd be alive if I could have, but I couldn't. And then this is when he says the part that she reminded me of Mom, when Mom strangled me. There was a part of me that wanted to kill her when this happened. And even though it wasn't her that I was angry at. Think, it was an emotion, and then this happened in response. It wasn't like I was like, I want you dead. It was like a reflective emotion, but it was still like my emotions made this happen.
Exactly, yeah. Like the stigma is, what did they call it? Like a stain on your soul or a mark on your soul, something like that?
Yeah, it's carved into it's some sort of...
Carved into your soul, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when something is powered by your soul, your heart, and you open that doorway for the first time, all this stuff that was in there that you maybe didn't even know about it just kind of pops out and goops your big sister.
Because Kevin says, like, his stigma, he gets his stigma by this trauma of what happened with his mother. Like, that is what has it. So this power is intrinsically linked to his trauma, which is a terrifying thing to think about. Like, that someone with PTSD has a superpower triggered by getting triggered, having the PTSD triggered.
Yeah, and then it goes into full activation at the threat of another loss. Yeah.
Yeah.
Woof.
And that's a really terrifying idea, but also I think is also a really powerful metaphor for the way so many people who do struggle with PTSD cut themselves off from the rest of the world because they fear the way that they react because of their PTSD, right? Because often you lash out, you stuff like that. And so a lot of people cut themselves off and isolate themselves and make themselves worse as a result because they're scared of that.
So, just to lighten the mood a little bit, does that make Kevin a post-traumatic stigma dominion?
So Kevin also lays out the fact that he loved both of these women and he killed them both, which he doesn't say outright, I kill everyone I love, which actually makes it better writing that he doesn't say it, but it's clearly implied that this is like internal logic. It's well done.
In a Cold Steel game, he would have said it directly and like 3 times in a row, right? Can't wait for that.
I love Cold Steel, but yes.
Yeah.
And Reese is so mad that we get a new portrait.
Yes, she's like, hey, shut up. She's so mad at him in this moment. He assumes, of course, it's because, you killed my sister, I'm angry at you. But her exact statement, I don't have the wording, but I will transliterate it into Australian. She basically says, we're family, you dumb cunt.
Like, why didn't you fucking tell me for 5 years?
Sure, you don't want to admit your fault or whatever, but you have traumatized Reese by leaving her with a giant question mark over the loss of her entire family for 5 years, for half a fucking decade. And she's like, why didn't you tell me this? Like, A, we could have gotten through it together. B, I would have understood what the fuck happened. And C, fuck you.
And D, why the fuck would you do this to yourself? Like, do you think I want you to suffer more?
Yeah.
Why did we have to grieve alone when we could have grieved together?
And his defense is like, oh, I didn't want you to know what happened because then you would have understood my modus operandi of I'm going out and heretic hunting, not to like make up for the loss of Rufina, but to punish myself incessantly. And you would have seen that and you would have stopped me.
Yeah.
So I couldn't tell you if I wanted to keep punishing myself.
And Reese has figured this out. And as she figures it out, we also get voice in red text. Also pointing out that yes, he just wanted to be punished. And everyone can hear a voice in red text. Can we turn around and lo and behold, it's the Lord of Phantasma.
We love it.
So I had Joshua and Estelle along for the ride.
Yeah, same.
For this part, and I do love that they've been silent most of the stuff, right? Occasionally they're like, oh my gosh, it's something. And I just love Joshua shows up and goes, the Lord of Phantasma. Like, he just has to dramatically narrate what's happening.
Thank you, CSIJ.
And it's not like, you, it's like, the Lord of Phantasma. I love you, Joshua.
They are, like, conspicuously silent through most of this entire section. Though I did like that when we were first walking into the chapel, Estelle stopped stopped Kevin and said, hey, this seems like serious business. Do you want us to wait outside while you deal with this? And Kevin's like, no, honestly, I think you guys need to know this as well. Which I'm sure was the lines of dialogue you'd have had for anyone, but having Estelle say it after he was her emotional support priest all last game
Yeah.
is like a really nice kind of wrapping up.
It is. And it's a nice mirroring of the relationship between Estelle and Joshua, how they had a similar thing, right? Of Estelle being like, why the fuck did you run away and isolate yourself instead of, like, talking to me? Obviously, these are different. It's not identical what's going on with them, but there is a nice mirroring of, like, yes.
Yeah. It would have been a great opportunity for Reese and Estelle just to step off to the side and say, men are fucking idiots. Have you noticed that they don't know how to deal with anything? Why do we keep putting ourselves around these people? But yes, the Lord has deigned to arrive in the chapel.
The Lord is with us.
And lets us know, as we already know, that up next is the seventh plane, which the Lord of Phantasma also says, this was my birthplace.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the start of all this shit, basically.
Yeah.
Kevin gets his serious face on as the Lord once again asks, so I'll put it to you one more time. Do you want me to take off the mask? And Kevin says,
damn right I do.
show us your face, Rufina Argent.
Dun dun dun. You got it!
Oh, hell yeah. I love it. We get the reveal. She takes off the mask. Seeing Rufina in the Lord of Phantasma costume is very funny because she's so sweet and smiley in the illustration, despite having red eyes because she's a Phantasma thing.
Mm-hmm.
Which also, this was the moment where one of my theories was debunked because I had a suspicion that potentially Rufina vanished in this crisis and was never seen again, assumed dead. And that she'd been in secret doing something and had like dark designs or something. But no.
She's dead.
She arrives with red eyes, so we know that she is a figment of Phantasma, just like everyone else.
Yeah. And Rufina immediately starts first being like, oh, Reese, I've missed you so much. Which is so creepy, like, to be Reese and see, like, this puppet resuscitation of your dead sister.
Yeah.
Acting sweet and nice towards you, but also clearly being fucking wrong on every level.
Oh, yeah.
Poor Reese. She's like, Kevin, I'm impressed you guessed it was me. And Kevin's like, I had a feeling the whole fucking time. I just didn't want to say it in front of everyone, but, like, I knew.
I knew the whole time.
Yeah.
Don't just claim that you knew it the whole time. If you can't prove it, it's just you trying to regain aura or whatever the fuck. But we do get a little bit more backstory, because one of the questions put to Rufina is...
why Luve?
Why the fuck was Luve the Blade Lord, aka Schwarzritter, here? What does he have to do with you?
The real answer is that the Trails wanted to have him in there because he's awesome, and that we gave Joshua another, like, a nice goodbye scene with him. But that's not in-universe the reason.
No.
Which we didn't need. I would have accepted that to just see Luve again, but...
I would have accepted just, I wanted to fuck with you.
Yeah.
Because that's all you need. But yeah, she says that they encountered each other 6 years ago, so a year before her death.
Mm-hmm.
And they were sort of on opposite sides, but they came to some sort of understanding so that they didn't have to kill each other.
Yeah.
And I guess evil Rufina thought, I need a good fighter to really like mess with these guys. So I'm going to summon that dollar store Sephiroth I met that one time.
Yeah. And he owed her a favor, it sounds like. Like he owed her a debt because of how it all went. This version of her was kind of making him repay that debt, which she's not really Rufina, so he didn't owe her a real debt, but whatever. After they're both dead, I think when you die, your debts are all supposed to be settled, but then again, you still have to pay taxes after you die, so... But, yeah, Rufina's like, but anyway, you made it this far, so I take it you understand what I'm here to do. And Kevin's like, yep, take me away. And everyone's like, wait, what?
Yes.
I think everyone thought maybe that now that Kevin had been honest about everything, he was ready to move forward, but no.
Yeah, because this is my designated punishment zone, the 7th plane. So, cool, let's punish me, let's get it going. I am a Catholic. Make me pain.
Yeah. Kevin's like, I want to go to hell. I want the distant flames to not be distant anymore.
At which point, Reese says, fuck that, and dives forward trying to attack Rufina, denying that she is actually Rufina. Love that. Love that we're not doing the thing, oh, she's really my sister, but maybe she can be about it. No. This is clearly a shitty figment of your sister, and she knows that off the bat. I like Reese. Reese
is clearly, she's so upset and so angry because this is a violation of her sister. Yes. Not because she thinks this is really her sister. And of me, and of Kevin, and of our memory and our grief. Obviously, she's not, like, questioning. Like, obviously she was surprised to see the face of Rufina, but she's immediately like, no, I know who my sister was. She would never stand for any of this shit.
She would never wear that.
She would never wear that. She would never wear those fucking, like, spiky horn things on the shoulders. She also calls out Kevin. She's like, how the hell do you think sacrificing yourself would make Rufina happy? You know better than this deep down. You know that this is not what she wanted. And Rufina, or fake Rufina, is kind of leaning into, well, how do you know this isn't what real Rufina wants? Reese is pretty clear, like, no, you're not going to get me. You're not going to manipulate me like this.
Yeah.
And she seems to convince Kevin, too. But her rejection really pisses this Rufina off.
Yeah. She decides to pivot on her plans. Yeah. She's like, you know what would be almost as painful as suffering in hell for all eternity, Kevin? Someone else doing it for you.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to deal with that shit. So she opens a demon slit in the floor and is like, I'm gonna put my sister in this so you can suffer.
If we weren't sure that this isn't really Rufina before, we're sure now. And I think Kevin also, this breaks through to him too, that like, because he hates himself so much, he can believe that Rufina hated him for it too, but he can't believe that Rufina would do this to Reese.
Yes, it's a bridge too far. But I love that in this moment, Reese is just like full like bravado. She's like,
yeah,
fuck you, do your worst. I can get through anything. I'm going to survive this. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to save Kevin. I will not be stopped. I had this scene mirrored in a movie I watched last night, ironically. I watched They Will Kill You, which is a fantastic, like, gory, black comedy, ultra-violence thing. And the reason I like it, the main character is, was it Zazie Beetz, I believe is her name. She played Domino in the second Deadpool movie.
Right, yes.
She's like trying to escape from a demonic cult in this big apartment building. And it's just like violence, violence, violence. And the thing I love is that she's not giving big dramatic speeches when stuff happens. One of these people will attack her and she'll just like scream and say, fuck you.
Amazing.
Like there's literally a scene where she gets trapped in like a secret passage. She gets hurt. And the person comes in and like says something evil at her and she's like, fuck you. It's like, no, fuck you. It's like, no, fuck you. And then runs off. And like, that's kind of the energy that Reese is giving me in this moment. She's so mad and so determined. It's not about speeches or convincing. She's just like, I'm going to fight you.
Yeah. I also watched a great movie with a lot of violence in it just recently. I finally watched Sinners.
Oh, nice. I still haven't seen it. I've still got to sit down.
I can never watch things by myself. Like I need someone to watch stuff with. And I had my best friend was in town and we kindly did it and it was great. But yes, that was my recent movie. But speaking of sinners, Reese is apparently headed for hell instead of the sinner who was supposed to go. Mm-hmm. Rufina also does the Weissman evil eye on the rest of them so that they can't intervene. Just like that devil did when Kevin decided to Stigma her for the first time.
And as Reese gets sucked down into this demon orifice going to hell, Kevin activates his stigma and dives after her, and we get one of the cooler little action shots that they've done in this game. Yeah. We see Rufina falling down this like hellfire wormhole. Her what's the hat called? Is veil the right word?
The veil?
Wimple? Is that what you have for a nun?
Yeah, it's the veil.
Okay, so Reese's veil flies off as she's falling down this wormhole. We see Kevin sort of dramatically superhero diving after her. They even have custom sprites of him sort of looking back as the veil whips past him as he flies downwards.
Yeah, it's great.
It's brilliant.
They did some brilliant stuff this chapter.
Doing so much with so little, it's one of the things I love about these games.
Yeah.
But yeah, we dive down only to find ourselves in Gehenna.
We also see a Reese with her hair down and no veil for a second. I love that she got a portrait like that, and we're about to get a portrait of her with a ponytail. Like, I like that they did a few.
Yeah.
Reese wakes up in Kevin's arms, and then Kevin finally has his turn to yell at Reese, as opposed to, the opposite. She hasn't deserved to be yelled at yet. He's basically like, why the hell were you taunting Rufina like that? Was it that bravado? You had no reason to make that risk. Like, you're a rookie in the Growler. You don't get to, like, risk your life like that. All that stuff. And then I was like, yeah, okay, I can't say that. I have no legs to stand on here. I'm upset that you put yourself in danger like that, but I'm aware that I'm a hypocrite.
Yeah, just another instance of someone in Trails screaming, learn from my mistakes.
Pretty much. And then he's like, well, anyway, now we have to deal with this because look around us. And we back out and we get the text of Gehenna and we get to see where we are. And it's really cool looking.
Oh, it is, yeah. Welcome to literal hell.
We're basically in this, like, suspended, like, slab of stone pathway in midair, and all around is just, like, a hellfire background that's constantly moving.
just like swirling flames. There's like lava and there's like a little bit of scrub brush around the place. This is not a place that lives and thrives.
No.
It's just bad.
And there's all sorts of interesting carvings throughout the place. Like there's pillars that are carved into kind of disturbing shapes. It's really interesting.
Yeah, like the few screenshots I took here, because mostly this is just a dungeon run.
Yeah.
Some of the symbology does kind of look like the writing in the sealed area.
Yeah.
Similar sort of font, but it does feel kind of spikier, more demonic in a cool way.
Yeah. We get the symbol that's constantly there, like a logo in the middle of a circle, that I think is the Spear of Loa.
Oh, that makes sense.
It looks a bit like a staff, but the Spear of Loa kind of looked like a Stumpy staff too. So I'm wondering if that's what it's meant to be, as opposed to, like, the other thing it reminded me of is the staff from Greek mythology with the two snakes of, like, healing, but there's no reason that would be that, you know? So I'm thinking it's the spear because the stigma is where this is all coming from. Kevin's like, I thought I could, like, be punished and everyone else could go be free from Phantasm and I'll be fine. I thought I could be like Rufina and sacrifice myself for everyone, but that wouldn't really be like Rufina, would it? And Reese has a really great speech where she's like, Rufina didn't sacrifice herself because sacrificing yourself is like an inherently good, noble thing to do. Yeah. She did it because it was the only option, and she decided that that was the best of a bunch of terrible options.
Yes.
It's not inherently virtuous to sacrifice yourself. It can even be selfish.
Yeah. Literal last resort, not just... She ran through all the possibilities and, like, this is the only one. Because we know that she's, like, one of the premier strategists in the church. That's why the Bracers were trying to get her.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say get her. They're trying to recruit her. Yeah. They weren't trying to murder her.
Recruit her. They weren't trying to get her the way the Jaegers were trying to get her. No. And Reese is like, you wanted to sacrifice yourself for everyone because you wanted to be punished. It was not because, like, you thought it was the only way.
And he sort of says, well, not anymore. That was the plan when it was just me going to hell. But the moment that you got sent to hell, the plan changed. So now the plan is, we are getting out of here come, hell or high water.
Yeah.
And I will not stop until I get you free. And the kind of implication is like, if I get freed as a result, that kind of sucks, but fine.
And then we go for a dungeon crawl. And I love that she's got a little ribbon in her hair tying it back, and her sprite and her portrait. It's so cute. But yes, the chest messages.
Yes, every single chest in this entire dungeon just says, the chest is empty. And that's how you know you're in hell, because you don't get chest messages.
Exactly. I also love, did you notice as you walk along the ground, like sparks and cinders show up under your steps? It's such a nice touch.
In place of like the dusty puffs they've done in like the mines and stuff in previous dungeons, they have sort of like fiery footprints following behind you, which is very cool. Now, were you like me and did you still check every single chest just in case there was a secret chest message on one of them?
Of course I did.
Yeah, perfect.
I knew that there wasn't. Like, I knew this was a thing about Gehenna, but I was like, I'm going to look at every time it says that to feel the full impact of it.
Exactly, yeah.
But yes, we get what look like upside down, monstrous, serpenty things like hanging down, which aren't like they're stone, like they're carvings, but they like kind of look like some sort of horrible monster coming down from above.
It's very spookums. It was nice to run into some of my favorite enemies. We had the male and female beasts come back.
Yes. A few of the enemies here are like new, just like little guys, but most of them are like devils we fought as at least a mini boss before, which is kind of fun.
Yeah, it is kind of interesting the way they're scaled up because I was recognizing them. I was like, oh, you were a bigger deal last time, but we're at your house now. Mm-hmm. But yeah, those little like skeleton lizard dudes, the new ones, they're annoying because I was mostly wiping them out before they could do anything, but it seems like their main job is to just randomly assign status effects to everyone. Like they were poisoning me and like locking me from using crafts and stuff. Realistically, this is not a complex dungeon. You're running through a fairly straight line. We've got maps. That's fantastic. Most of the chests are just like some extra healing items. You get a new weapon for each of them. I think a new set of armor and shoes, at least one set.
Yeah, and we get some good stuff.
But this is mostly just like a long corridor to walk down and occasionally get exposition about these two.
In the form of a mini boss. This is his ghost of Christmas past, present, and future.
Yeah.
This is like when Jacob Marley shows up and it's like, you will tonight be visited by 3 spirits. Like that's what's happening to Kevin here. And so we're going to have 3. Disturbing to different degrees.
Oh, yeah. The first one in like the second area of Gehenna. All of these guys look like melty, like clay faces from Batman. They're all kind of melty mud men.
Yeah.
This first one, he identifies as Owen.
I love that his name is Owen.
Who was the bishop from the Congregation of the Sacraments who hired the Jaegers to come and invade Astor House.
I don't think that was the bishop who warned Kevin that there were Jaegers there going, like, because remember in that flashback, Kevin was warned by a priest or something. For a second, I was like, wait, was the guy who warned him the one who had hired them, and he was just doing it to, like, cover tracks? But then I don't think, I think his name was, like, Benedict or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is the guy, the bishop who did this.
So he'd been exiled from the church, and then he, like, hired the Jaegers to go steal the Spear of Loa.
Yeah, which is how Reese learns about who was responsible for, like, the end of her childhood.
Mm-hmm.
And she seems to know who he was, because she goes, him?
And Kevin's like, yeah, this was my first kill as the heretic hunter. He was my first heretic. I also appreciate the touch that Owen, and I think the other ones we'll face later, all have crossbow bolts sticking out of their backs.
Yeah.
To kind of really signify that they were sent here by Kevin.
It's a good touch. Yep. And then you get this as his text, this guy, he's like, I hate you, I'm angry, whatever. And then it just devolves into this, I hate it, it's hard, I hate it, help, 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 help. And you're like, wow. Whether this is really them or just like his mind, like conjuring what that they would be here, it does melt into your head that like the idea of someone suffering in hell for eternity is a really horrifying idea.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether they deserve it, if anyone can, like it's horrifying.
Because this man, at most, has been dead for 5 years.
Yeah.
That's all it takes to just completely dissolve your personality, to turn you into just a beast of pain.
Yeah.
Which is pretty rough considering the next one.
Kevin says after quick death, and then you'll get to be a grimoire, which we fought lots of grimoires here before, and that's when you lose all your personality and like memories. I guess that is a mercy compared to this, but, you know, when we were first told about what grimoires were, that was a pretty terrifying thought. We were like, yeah, Teoh hasn't been taught this at Sunday school yet because it's too upsetting for kids. And now that's the mercy we're granting.
Yeah, the Gehenna pipeline is pretty scary. You go from guy to goop to grimoire.
Yeah.
We continue making our way through until Area 3.
We get a chest along here with a food item called blood extract. The description is blood from you-know-what. Makes you feel like a vampire.
What? From you-know-what? Is that meant to imply a person? That's just you-know-what is our person?
I thought that. Then I thought, do they mean period blood?
That was my other thought.
Yeah. Which is like, because why else would they say you know what, if not that it was something that they felt was like not appropriate to mention. But then also it might just be because whatever you come up with is like weirder and funnier and more disturbing.
Yeah. But in the next area, we encounter our next past heretic kill, who just keeps going on about, I'm so hungry, I want to eat, let me eat you, hungry, hungry, hungry.
This is the most disturbing one.
This one is rough. It turns out this is Elma, a child who was kidnapped by a demonic cult and converted into a flesh-eating monster.
Through a ritual involving artifact.
Yeah, this poor kid, Elma, was turned against his will. Kevin says he did try everything he could, like all of his thaumaturgy, to try and unmonsterize this child. But at the end of the day, the only way to put him to peace was to kill him. But that begs the question, why did you heretic hunt him instead of just killing him? Because he mentioned something about, like, when he heretic hunts someone, they're forced to go to Gehenna to suffer for all eternity. They don't get to be reborn or anything.
Obviously, we have other reasons to think that this is Gehenna is something out of his mind or out of his feelings of guilt rather than meant to be literally it. My take on this is that he did not heretic hunt him beyond the fact that, like, to kill the demon that was possessing him, there were certain things he had to do. Like, he couldn't kill the demon without killing the child, and he couldn't get the demon out of the child. But that you'd hope to believe that if something this horrible happened, and there was definitely an afterlife and a heaven and hell, the child would not go to hell.
Yeah, like kind of the reading I had was that the act of using his stigma to hunt a heretic is what dooms them to Gehenna stuff, blah, 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 as opposed to just shooting them with a crossbow bolt.
Yeah.
I was a little bit confused, but it does make sense if this is just Kevin's, like, fears for what happens after, that, like, he would punish himself by thinking, like, oh, by killing this innocent child, I've doomed him to the same fate, even if that's not necessarily true, because it's the worst thing that could happen to make him feel the worst about himself.
This is the best example I think we get of what everyone's been saying, that Kevin became the heretic hunter to punish himself. Being an assassin is, like, you know, not the most highbrow virtuous job, but so far the people we've seen him, you know, be dispatched as heretic hunter against have been people who deserve something bad, you know, of varying degrees. But this is the kind of example, it's like, oh, when they say he did the church's dirty work to punish himself, it is punishment yourself. Like, I wouldn't wish having to deal with this situation on my worst enemy, right?
Yeah.
But the child is begging Kevin and Reese to let him eat them, because he's still possessed by a flesh-eating demon, even in death, which is also horrifying. You'd hope death would free him from that.
After the fight, Kevin mentions that even for him, like, that kill really hit him hard. Like, he was bedridden for a week, just kind of distraught over what he'd had to do to young Elmer.
Yeah, and Reese hugs him from behind. And again, yells at him as she hugs him, which is such a perfectly Reese thing to do. It is like, why the fuck have you been trying to deal with this yourself all this time?
Buddy.
I'm so mad that you would not let me be there for you. I'm so mad that you wouldn't talk to me about this so we could work through it and instead punish yourself with this. But also, even if you had to do this, you didn't have to be alone to, like, cope with the aftermath. But no.
My guy. He's just the biggest masochist who ever lived, as he says himself.
Reese tells him, yes, and you're the stupidest person I know, too.
But we continue moving through until we reach his next kill, quote unquote.
On the way, we also get Matt's favorite enemies, the mirrors that reflect one type of damage.
Oh god, yeah, I forgot about them. These ones are different because instead of being like a different colored mirror, they are the same colored mirror frame, but then the reflective part is different because they're both like black mirrors.
Yes.
Very annoying. Hate them. Hate them.
Yeah, they suck.
But we go past them to reach the sub-boss of Area 4, who's not a mud monster this time. It is a long-haired ghostly figure who turns out to be his mother.
It says a lot about this section that this is not the most upsetting of the three.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she barely has any lines or anything. She's just mad, and then they fight.
She repeats the same dialogue as she did the last time he saw her. That I failed as your mother, but I'm so tired. Kevin's really shaken by this one.
Yeah.
I think Kevin was expecting to encounter the people he killed as a Dominion. He had kind of braced himself for the others, even though the kid hurt, but he had not braced himself for this.
Which makes sense, because it doesn't really fit the narrative of what we've seen so far in the dungeon of kind of a historic trip through his heretic hunts, where this wasn't a hunt and it came before any of this, so it is kind of like a psychological jump scare.
But he does blame himself. Even though he was being dramatic, but also he kind of seems to believe that. So this is if this is his psychological jump scare, right? The way he sees it as first kill. Like, he's been very generous talking about his mother, right? He has not blamed her. I mean, he said that I was angry when Rufina reminded me of my mom. But when actually talking about his mom, he's been like, she was suffering, she was mentally ill, and I left her alone in a terrible state. I think he didn't want to think she might be in hell.
Yeah.
But he's not want to think about that possibility. Whether deliberately trying not to blame her or whether he really truly doesn't blame her.
Yeah. After the fight, which isn't too hard, he at least claims that he's come to terms with his mother's death now, before we move on.
Which is interesting. I think the implication is not just coming to terms with her death, but coming to terms with what she did right before she died.
Yeah.
Especially when she's not there for you to ask questions or be angry at or anything. You just have to grieve her, so you don't want to think about all the reasons you're upset and hurt, because you have to grieve.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a rough chapter, but it's a good game.
Good game. After dealing with Mama, we reached the very end of the Gehenna dungeon, which is a big, veiny door. It's kind of gross. It's like on a flesh wall. There's these 4 big, throbby-looking veins that connect up to the door. I actually thought this was going to be longer because the floor map shows 4 little round things off to the side of this final area.
Oh, yeah.
And then there are these big 4 veins going into the door. I thought we were going to have to do like 4 little mini side bosses before the door unlocked or something.
Interesting.
Not the case. And I was like, thank God, because I think I've had enough of this chapter already. It's tough stuff.
There's also these cool little carvings around the door, right? There's like some sort of, what looks like some sort of demon at the top of it. And then around it, you've got like what look like demons that are like speared through by something. What could be one of the spears from Kevin's Stigma, which is kind of just fun as a visual representation that Kevin thinks of hell as being filled with his victims. Even the art has that. But yeah, with the gates of Gehenna, and Reese and Kevin walk out to them and like, well, now we're here. Well, shit. How are we supposed to get through? They're very clear in all the books, the testaments, that you can't open these gates. So what do we do now?
Yeah, but before we can come up with a solid plan, we are interrupted by a red text voice taunting us. But it's not the red text voice that I was expecting. It's a different guy who should appear uponst the stairs to the gate of Gehenna, but Weissman the Faceless.
Kevin's latest heretic kill.
He's in his full, like, disco pope outfit, which I do enjoy.
Yes.
He monologues a bit about how, haha, I'm so evil and you suck and I hate you.
I do love that Kevin's not at all surprised that he's here. Weissman's like, who would have thought we'd meet again like this? And Kevin's like, yeah, of course. You're plot relevant and I killed you. he explains who he is to Reese. And Reese is like, that's that guy? Like, she's read the report.
Yeah.
Weissman's like, yeah, my biggest mistake, my biggest shortcoming was the fact that I never figured out you were Dominion. Like, I really, really didn't get that.
Yeah.
For years, the church hid the fact that he was a Dominion deliberately, not just so that he could do his work in secret, but so that he would get the chance to kill Weissman eventually.
Yeah, Weissman's even sort of noodling on the thought. Is like, I bet they started forming the plan to kill me as soon as you got your stigma.
Yeah.
As soon as they realized that the slot for the 7th Dominion had finally been filled again.
5th Dominion, but yeah.
Oh, sorry, yeah. They started, like, spinning up a plan to take me out, which is kind of self-centered of Weissman, but also not entirely untrue.
But yes, but Weissman is not mad that he gets killed because he's too busy having a hard-on for Kevin's Stigma.
Yeah.
Really, he just wants to build an Übermensch. Like, we knew this.
Yeah.
It's still the case. He just wants to do the Captain America Super Soldier program. Like, that's his whole deal.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I couldn't do it with Joshua, but you've got the real Stigma. We could do that. He also gives some exposition about why Phantasma showed up.
Yes.
He's like, yeah, Phantasma, when the Oriole disappeared, Phantasma had, like, lost its master. Like, it was a subsystem of something, so it needed to latch on to something. So it latched on to whatever had the most trauma nearby, and that was you. Which is saying a lot, because, like, Joshua was there, Shara was there, like, we've seen some bad trauma there, but I understand why Kevin had it the worst.
Once it identified Kevin as the most traumatized individual that it could latch onto while Phantasma was in freefall, it basically copy-pasted his stigma into itself.
Yeah.
Because as we know, like, the Phantasma system sources data from the real world to create its stuff.
Yeah.
So it copied the stigma, and that resulted in kind of the reformation of Phantasma as a whole, and the birth of the Lord of Phantasma, aka Rufina Red Eyes Argent.
Helpful information, so thank you, Weissman, for being helpful. You're immediately going to become an asshole again to make up for it.
Yep.
And he's basically like, you can be my super soldier, Kevin, and I can take away all of your emotions and your crippling guilt and self-hatred if you do this. You just have to cast away your humanity, and it's all gonna be great. You know, your stigma came from guilt and despair and trauma, so you would also be able to control your stigma if you got rid of all the guilt and despair and trauma. And Reese is like, you're fucking insane. He calls it a modest proposal, with, you know, the piece of satire called A Modest Proposal by Jonathan Swift, I think it is, the one that's like a satire of like what like 1800s like liberal policies were like, and he like in this like very formal writing proposes like cannibalizing children.
I know the name. I don't know that I've actually read that, but yeah.
I had to read it in school once. It's wild, but I thought of that.
So Kevin declines the very kind offer to surrender his humanity for a no-death strat on this situation.
Weissman is shocked that he turns it down. It's really funny.
Yeah, he really thought he had him. But that's kind of Weissman's whole deal, is just kind of assuming that he's the mastermind and then getting proven wrong over and over again.
Yeah. Kevin's like, I don't want to lose all my good memories. And Weissman's like, I've never considered such a thing.
Kevin says, nah. Weissman gets angry and summons 2 giant demon perverts, who are the gatekeepers of Gehenna, Astarte and Rostrum. We've fought both of these as bosses already, haven't we? I know Astarte we've seen before. Rostrum, I think so, yeah. They are very nasty looking. I don't like them.
I think one of them is the one that Kevin merged his Stigma to fight.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't remember which one it is.
That might have been Rostrum?
But we have fought both. We've never fought them together.
Reese even says, like, how are we meant to take down 2 gatekeepers and or faceless at the same time? That's a lot. Kevin kind of gets his power evolution moment in this, which is really cool. He's like, well, now that I've faced all my trauma and about 90 seconds ago got over my mum's death, I'm not the man I thought I was.
He's like, it's time for my Deus Ex Machina, bitch.
And he summons his Stigma at twice the size in a new color scheme.
Yeah.
It's a whitish purple instead of the blood red we're used to seeing. It's huge. It looks like if it was actually projecting on his back, it would be halfway stabbed into the ground. And it unlocks his new S-craft, Spear of instead of Spear of Lower.
Yes.
And they're all very surprised, and Kevin says, well, you see, you've just unlocked the other side of my Stigma. Turns out it has 2 sides. The side he's been using is like the death and destruction side, but on the light side, we have the Spear of So now this is a space type move where Spear of Lower is time type. And this new one is especially effective against devils. And isn't that convenient right now?
So convenient. Fun mythology note, because I like to do this about.
Yeah.
So I talked about what Loa is. There's two possible things I think it could be. One is obviously being like the term we use for like proto something, right? So the
Yes.
this, the that. This is like the proto, like the real Stigma in its true form. So it could be that. Also, in Mandaism, is what the like the Leviathan, the biblical Leviathan is called, like the giant dragon snake thingy. There's like a lot more lore mythology, but Mandaism is a descendant of Gnosticism, and Gnosticism we've seen like in this game and in other Trails games. Falcom has a clear interest in Gnosticism and Gnostic beliefs, so that's also, there is a possibility there. So just as a fun note.
Interesting.
So listener, let me know which you think it is, or if you think there's another possible meaning.
Yeah. I don't think we really get any other big drops until it's just time to fight.
Yeah.
This fight was really good because, of course, the first thing I did was cast Spear of
Yeah.
Which is cool. It looks very similar to Spear of Loa, different dialogue lines, and it's obviously a bit more lighter colored, but it's still kind of a rain of spears in the same way.
Mm-hmm.
I was very happy because I did his S-Craft and then Reese's second tier one, the more powerful Angel Strike.
Oh, nice.
And at that point, that wiped out both of the gatekeepers.
Oh, nice.
And left Weissman with only 400 HP.
Wow, okay.
So, in an absolute story reference, I made sure to kill him with just a regular old crossbow bolt from Kevin.
Oh, that's really good.
Hey, buddy, does this feel familiar? Chunk.
Bitch. So it didn't quite go that way in normal mode. It did a bunch of damage, and then I used Reese's craft that restores CP to get Kevin up to 100 CP, and I just kept doing that and spamming it at like 100
Nice.
CP, and it worked well. Like, it's still, even at 100 CP, it does a shitload of damage.
It's nice to know that we both found a different way to just kind of paddle Weissman's little butt.
It was really fun. Yeah, so we beat Weissman, and Weissman's like, well, so long as Phantasma exists, I will never die. And it's like, well, hopefully we'll fix the Phantasma existing thing soon, so that's not a huge concern yet.
Yep. Yeah, I love that. Just like Weissman's like, I will exist forever with Phantasma. And Kevin's like, well, once we get through that door, we're switching it off. And as Weissman fades out, he's like, no, wait.
Yeah. He's like, stop playing tough, Kevin. And Kevin, after Weissman fades away, Kevin's like, playing tough, huh? Yeah, that's right. And just collapses to the ground. Because, like, as we know, it takes a lot out of him to use his Stigma.
Yeah, but he has been getting more practice, so...
But this is a new level of it.
Reese is like, oh, shit, not again. He's like, no, don't worry. I'm not going to, like, be unconscious for a chapter this time.
For a chapter, yeah.
It's fine. I'm too locked in on facing Rufina to take a break now, so let's just keep going.
We're still in the same situation we were before Weissman, where we still don't know how to open these fucking doors.
Yeah, they're too big to push. Reese, of course, jumps to, why don't we destroy them? No one brings it up in the moment, but it's like, hey, maybe destroying the gates to hell is not the best idea kind of long term.
Yeah.
Does that have to be the solution? Because, Weissman said he's just going to hang around. We don't want to leave an open door policy for him.
No, I guess we don't. Hopefully we are right about this just being like a projection out of Kevin. In which case the limit would at least just be the people Kevin's killed coming flooding out of the gates of hell. If this is real hell, we've got a much bigger issue. Yeah, Kevin's like, maybe not. But then another voice appears, and this is not like a red text voice. It's like a real text bubble. Matt has just started hanging his head in despair. Listener, letting you know. So I'm going, hey! And Reese is like, that sounds like. And lo and behold, it is Boss Fight of the Year 2025, Gilbert Stein, running up toward us. He trips and falls on his way.
Yeah, of course.
Which is just a really nice little animation touch.
It's just, he can't have any moment. They're like, oh, fucking this guy again. So he's fallen through another vanish.
How are you here? How are you possibly here? Like, we saw the thing that opened up and brought us here. You were not there. How are you here? You're not working with Lord of Phantasma, because at that point, he's like, the Lord of what's it? I don't know.
Yeah, I love that all this time he's been trapped alongside us, and he still has no fucking clue what's going on. He doesn't even know who the Lord is.
He doesn't know about Phantasma. He's got no clue.
Completely clueless. He's just been running around, refusing our help at every stop, not knowing anything about what's going on, and falling ass backward into the story.
Getting crucified by mice. But what he was running from catches up as well.
Yes, he's like, hey, you need to help me with this. And there are 6 giant flying demons that have followed him and surrounded us because Gilbert brings nothing but bad news.
Mm-hmm.
And just as Kevin and Reese are saying, oh shit, how do we take down 6 of these? And like, we just beat the gatekeepers to hell, and these aren't the gatekeepers. I think we can do it.
I think we can do it.
You've got some S-crafts.
I was like, yeah, I can take them.
Also, this has been an incredibly easy dungeon because I loaded both Kevin and Reese up with the gladiator things.
Yeah.
Kevin's S-craft was basically recharging instantly.
Yeah.
He could have just like 10,000 spears of lower and this, because we can still use the lower one as well, which I do appreciate.
Yeah, and these are devils, so it'll be extra effective.
Yeah.
But no, well, Gilbert does tell us, deal with this, it's your responsibility, which is just really funny. He's like, I don't want to die. Reese's like, you think we do?
Yeah.
And Kevin's like already planning out a sacrifice play. He's like, oh, I have to figure out an opening for these two. I don't know where he thinks they're going to go. There's no place to go except further into hell at this point, but...
We don't need to worry about it, because just when all seems lost, lo and behold, the fucking doors of hell burst open.
And he said, let there be light. And light appeared.
And we get our very first Trails game crowd arrival shot.
Yeah.
Which is every other member of our team runs through the gate, weapons drawn. This is a kind of shot that comes up a number of times in the Trails series where you get the cavalry coming in.
Yeah.
It's rare that you get these shots of just how many people you have access to, especially going forwards in the Trails games.
Yeah.
But having this like entire platoon of friends run through the door, which is like burst open and just shining light into hell.
Yes.
Fantastic.
It feels really good this time. Like, it feels really nice.
Our duo are surprised, like, how the hell did you get here? And it's a perfectly reasonable explanation, which I love. They're like, well, we got Celeste to track the cube, which you still have, because we couldn't find you, but we can find the cube. And then once she found that, she started working on building a gateway that would take us to where the cube is. And literally 5 seconds ago, she finished. So here we are.
And of course, we also get the thing where every single member of the party has their own line of dialogue, which has not really happened much yet in Trails, will happen more, but this is a great iteration of it, right?
It's gonna get worse. Yeah.
Like, this is a good version. You really get the impression that Kevin is shocked that anyone came to rescue him, right? Like, he was not expecting this. And of course, we know they would.
It's fantastic because they burst into action. Like, how many people is there? That's like 14 other party members or something.
Yeah.
They all go into action at the same moment. And this is where I really love the attention to detail. In a lot of RPGs, if you had everyone coming to the rescue, they would all just dive forward and do their attack animation or whatever.
But not here.
But here we actually have people split into their specialties. Like, our frontliners run straight for the attack.
Yep.
Some of the more agile ones take evasive maneuvers and sort of bounce around. A couple of spellcasters hang back and start casting.
Yeah, Shara and Chloe are casting.
Yeah, and you get this gorgeous wide shot of all 6 of those demons who are surrounding us as your party members just bounce back and forth between them, like dropping spells, dropping special attacks. It's absolute chaos. They have this cacophony of melee sounds that's playing the whole time as they just beat the shit out of these devils.
It's glorious.
Ah, fantastic.
And it's again that thing, right, that theme that's come up a lot in Trails, right? The bonds you have with people are like continue to be mutual even when you don't see each other. Like, of course, the whole time that Kevin and Reese were in hell, the rest of the party was working on a way to get to them.
Exactly, yeah.
Obviously, we know this, and obviously, like, Estelle knows this, because this is her whole, like, life thing, but Kevin kind of hadn't gotten the theme drilled into him yet, and I think we see this moment, right as the light comes in, right, very dramatically, very on theme.
Yeah.
That, like, oh yeah, I'm not alone. I have friends.
It's great. And it is a nice touch that the central trio bursting through the doors after them are Estelle, Joshua, and Ren.
Yes.
In, like, the little trio.
Yeah.
Fantastic shot. And as we hear just like weapon bashes as these demons get turned into 1,000 lumps of flesh, we cut to the end of the chapter, The Distant Flames.
Kevin, Reese, and Gilbert, as they're told to, take the opportunity to escape because obviously they're in the least good fighting shape.
Yes.
Gilbert's the luckiest motherfucker in the world. Can we just say?
I don't recall. Did anyone react to Gilbert being there when they burst through the doors?
No one said shit. I don't think they even could see him. I think he's kind of cowering behind Kevin and Reese, so I'm not sure any of them saw him until they were kind of on the battlefield, and obviously they had bigger priorities. I do appreciate that the 6 monsters waited for everyone to say their line of dialogue.
Very kind of them, yeah. Turn order is important.
But yeah, and that's the end of the chapter.
Hurrah! No real clue exactly what we're going to be running into in chapter 8 / the final chapter.
Yeah.
But we're almost there. Oh my goodness.
You're finished!
So, next time.
Yes.
There's a few next times. So next time for real, it's going to be next week. And we're going to have a roundup of the Sundoors.
Yeah.
Which will cover every Sundoor. So obviously, if you just want to listen to that and not play along, I mean, you can do that with any episode, but I very much understand if you don't want to play the Sundoors, though you will be missing the last Star Door as well that needs you to have touched every door. But we'll be covering that in a little bonus episode.
Yep.
And then in the next real episode, we will be playing half of Chapter 8. And the way we're dividing it is that Chapter 8 has a bunch of optional dungeon crawling stuff that's available to do.
Okay.
There's a new dungeon area that opens up. And basically what we're doing is everything up until the point of no return, which tells you it's the point of no return. So what that's actually going to look like in practice is 3 Star Doors. Star Door 13, 15, and 14, as well as a dungeon area called Abyss. And that's what we're going to be covering in Finale Part 1.
Excellent. My goodness, I can't believe we're almost there.
We're so close. It's crazy.
So, for anyone playing along who wants to dive into the Sundoors and really punish yourself like we're about to, we're just going to play through whatever intro chunk of Chapter 8 we have to get to be able to play the doors. We won't cover it in that next episode.
Yeah.
But we'll get to where we can do the Sundoors, do all of those, drop that for you next week on what is normally our off week for the show. And the following week, we will pick up with the story in Chapter 8, Part 1. And then Chapter 8, Part 2 will be our final episode for the season.
Yeah, Chapter 8, Part 2, or Finale Part 2, we will be finishing the game.
We're almost at the end of the sky. Oh my goodness. Well, that's next time. But before that, we have a tradition to uphold. This week, we've been horribly bereft of chest messages, so we need one to send ourselves out on.
So bereft.
So every week, we reach into the worst garbage chest and pull out the name of one of our fellow shows to send you their way to check out what they're doing and have a listen. So this week is Wavelengths.
Bryan Bigley, my favorite place to get games news.
And I think, as an aside, we'll also sub-shout out Overworld, the new project that Brennan has just launched.
Oh, yes.
So Wavelengths is for video game opinion pieces, first plays, all kinds of interesting gaming content from Brendan.
News coverage, yeah.
And Overworld is a new project he's just launched with Pablo Cordero. Overworld, the website is overworld.vg. I believe that stands for video games. So yes, Brennan and Pablo launched Overworld, which is sort of an RSS aggregator for games media news, where basically they're collecting up anything that gets reported from a bunch of verified news sites. So they have sort of a short list of quality news sites that they pull from, and they'll just collate all those articles into a single post about that thing. It's actually really helpful. I've got it on my Feedly feed now, and I'm actually starting to look at removing some of the source feeds that I also get, because for me, Brendan and I have fairly aligned games interests, so I know they're going to cover the stuff that I want to see. So yeah, check out Overworld and Wavelengths.
Go forth and enjoy. And with that, that'll bring us to the end of the episode for today. Once more, next episode, we're playing the Sundoors as a bonus episode, and then in 2 weeks, in our normal scheduled time, we're going to be playing the first half of the finale chapter up to the point of no return, which is when you board a ship. And what we're going to be covering in there is a new dungeon section called Abyss, as well as Star Doors 13, 14, and 15. In the meantime, you can find us on the OrbitalNet, on Blue Sky and Twitter and Instagram at TrailsPod, or on the OrbitalNet at trailspod.online. You can find all of our other fellow shows on the Worst Garbage.online. You can send us an email at trails2trails@gmail.com. You can hit us up in the Discord. We're pretty available. We're pretty terminally online. So we're around, and let us know if you have any thoughts on anything. I don't know. But until then, I've been Lex.
And I've been Matt.
And...
It's over!
TWG, the worst garbage, online.